everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Getting into Dawn's Super XL here. Actually, I would say I'm well into it. First thing I noticed when I got it out of the box was that the muffler cover was not on correctly. Wrong set of screws, coarse thread, wrong size in these studs, so I went ahead and pulled that off just to take a peek. So you can see there's some scoring on this engine. Now it's not the worst I've ever seen. Hasn't collapsed the ring landings yet, and it still makes compression. Pretty good compression, all things considered. But, okay, need to go through this thing pretty thoroughly. Has spark, points ignition, cool. That's easy enough. So started digging in. Figured it would need a carb kit. Back of my mind, I'm like, I want to know what scored that. I mean, it's clear there's a little carbon buildup. It's probably been run a little bit rich. That's fairly common. But once I got the carb off, I found the culprit. Right there. In all likelihood, that is what scored the engine, was those bits of reed that broke off. Now, whether this thing was ingesting some sand or, what, I don't know. I mean, it's possible that metal just deteriorated, but the way it's got that raggedy broken edge, I don't think so. I think it ingested something. So, that in all likelihood is why it's scored. Again, it didn't collapse a ring landing, so as long as this saw stays well lubricated and doesn't get overheated, it'll probably last a while longer. Now, Dawn wants me to replace the piston, I will, but I'm going to go ahead and get this thing back together, get it running, make sure everything else is good. That's critical in one of these projects. Make sure you've got a good baseline so you know what you're getting into. But just wanted to jump in with that. I'm going to get some work done, and we'll see if it runs. Okay, she is back together, and she will run. Let's have a listen, and we'll talk about some of the things that are still left to be done. Okay, sounds pretty good. Wet cylinder, it's got good compression. So as I said previously, the ring landings aren't collapsed, even though there is some damage on the side of the piston there. It hasn't impacted the rings at this point, which tells me that it hasn't impacted the cylinder either. So that's good news. If Dawn decides that he wants to throw a piston in this, should be a fairly easy one. A few other things that are going on. Sprocket obviously needs replaced, but one of the bigger ones that I noticed is this lower mount is broken right here. See that? That's no bueno. So realistically, this throttle handle needs to be replaced in order to really do this right. So yeah, while it was in there, I added back the flywheel screen that was missing, did a duckbill valve and the fuel cap. So in terms of runnability, we know this thing's going to be good. So I'll get with Dawn, figure out what all of this he wants to do, and yeah, we'll get this complete. But the question mark is gone. She's a runner.